So we'll just take 2 minutes in the meantime while others may join. 2 minutes to just in gather our attention and bring our mind fully in the body with the breath. And when mind is home in the body, we are in the here and now, where things are okay. And we can go through and deal with all the things in this groundedness. So before we start taking up the readings today, I thought maybe it would be nice to just share so far, because we have been doing these sessions on the same topic and maybe exploring different facets and aspects of it. So it would be nice to hear from all of us today, so far our understandings, how they have changed with respect to relationships, love, and what is now we see in front of us, that okay, this is what where I have to put effort in. This is where I see that I go default pattern, like wrong road, and this is where I would want to put effort. So whatever reflections anyone has to share would be nice to hear our learnings through all the sessions and beforehand. Yes, so who wants to go first? Lessons and learnings and love. I think all of us are ready. So it's just a matter of unmuting the microphone.
Yeah, so I'll go first, Monica.
Yeah, please.
So I've been sort of listening, and what happened was in the past couple of days, I also uh, happened to hear this Alokji's conscious parenting video. Yeah. So in that he says, like he says that when mother says, right, even few drops of true love that you can, I think, offer. I think that has been my practice since the time, mm, for quite some time now. As in, I've heard that, but over a period of time, so I realized, like I said, there's a constant, not a battle, but I guess, trying to understand from my daughter's perspective. She's a teenager, and I know how difficult it must be because of, in terms of, 10th standard attempting now, and for us when we were attempting, it's a different, yeah, there are different stress points today, right? And small things probably trigger them much more than how we would have responded at that time. So that is where I'm coming from, and that's where I find that I have been working on constantly. So those few drops every day, in spite of, maybe when there are challenges, instead of sometimes just trying to, say or prove that yes, I have also done my bit, just keeping quiet over there, being more, offering it as whatever, in my patience or in understanding, and not reacting. It's just a response of at that moment I just call upon mother and say, give me the insight, and just let me go through this, because I know the challenges are different for them, and as a parent also, yeah, the challenges are different for me. So that's where, yeah, so that's been my, you know yeah, that's how I've been sort of working on things.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's amazing to be able to step back from our regular
Yeah.
patterns. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And we realize as you were sharing that the world won't crumble down if I don't say this out or blurt it out.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah. So
in fact, we would do rather good staying, you know.
right.
Many a
Yeah.
times we say things which are not really necessary and they do hurt rather than, this act like a drop of love. So beautiful to
Right.
know
Right.
that. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Who would like to share next? Any explorations? Yeah. Yes, Dr.
I'll
Anjali.
say something. Okay.
Yeah. Hearing to Nandini, it was good that we could also identify the same thing. Uh, One thing I have started understanding that I speak too much. Sometimes it is essential that speak less. So mother also says the most of our energy is goes in speaking. And regarding love, I was thinking definitely the viewpoint has changed. A lot of broadening has come, and whenever there are certain thoughts which are narrow mindedness or things like that, that we start questioning, हमने तो ये किया फिर ये वो, we start assessing, लेन देन वाला जो होता है थोड़ा, the moment the mind start doing these things, I just remember mother, and my open my mind, my heart, my life to your light, and it works, and yes, relationships were good, but I was suffering, but now I am not suffering, and relationships are also good, and others are able to understand the situation also.
Wonderful. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Mm.
Yes. Sulakshna
I'd
ji.
like to,
Yes.
yeah, good morning, everyone. Monica, I just wanted to say, how each thing has worked for me and affected me, helped me, your sessions, Taru's Nam Jap sessions now, and one or two more Rohini's. And, I've been after my husband's life, his knee is really painful. And the doctors have said that he needs knee replacement surgery. And, he's just not ready for it mentally. But I've been after his life because I felt, कहीं जा नहीं सकते हैं, बंद गए हैं बिल्कुल. Up, you don't go anywhere. Consequently, I'm also tied to the house. And slowly, as I was listening to you and these past 2 or 3 sessions on this love, and I was thinking कि कैसा प्यार है कि मैं अपनी जिद पकड़ के बैठी हूँ. I care for the man. I feel bad, but there's a lot of me in the whole thing. And then when I really reflected on it, I really thought that if we are not going out so much, great, we never did too much anyway. I'm getting so much more time for these sessions. I'm getting so much more time to be with myself. I'm getting a little bit of time to sit and talk to him. And I started feeling so comfortable with myself, I can't tell you. Absolutely at peace. And I realized कि अगर होना होगा, जब होना होगा, when the time is right, it'll happen. I don't even, as a matter of fact, one thing I realized, I don't even have to put it in my prayers now. My prayers are heard. Like they say, bin bolya sab kuch janta. Then why don't we believe in that? It'll happen. meantime, I need to appreciate, and I'm so grateful to you and everybody. I'm really feeling so much at peace now, just with the sessions and everything else, and being with myself. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the most important, being with myself. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. I think it's beautiful and very courageous to see that how our own conceptions of this is how this thing should happen, and you're waiting for that thing to happen and torturing, others around us and our own selves. And when we can step back from that, that no, I don't know, maybe it's not supposed to happen this way that I'm thinking. Maybe God has some other plans. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Yeah, very, I think it's all this working of grace that we are able to see where we are stuck, and then we are able to step back from those rigid, tight opinions. Beautiful. So today, those of us who joined later, we are just sharing our questions, doubts, or our experiments with love and relationships, and what have we seen? Maybe we have been shown something which we have been able to work upon, or what are our challenges still, which we can work or are working upon. So, would anyone want to go next? Pratima, Snehi, Damian, or Jayashri?
I don't have much to add today. I just want to listen.
Okay. Although I would have loved to hear something, but let's see, maybe later. Yeah. Anyone else wants to share any experiments and reflections on love and relationships?
One thing, Monica, which I wanted to thank you for that. When I'm listening your talks or lectures, otherwise, your me is very important. It has given a certain direction that we have to look inside, that everywhere we see the problem, it is me. So the focus from me, from others to me, is that you have to work upon it. So I wanted to add into my comment that this has helped quite a lot in understanding the whole situation.
Yeah, thank you. So I think Mother also shares, and it's not me who is talking about this. Mother shares about this. Jetsunma Tenzing Palmo, she talks about that the point of our misery is the things should happen in the way I want them to. And if we shift this focus, like all of you were sharing little experiments, that the moment you see that, oh, I want to blurt out something, which you can stay without saying it also, because we don't know the larger picture. Many a times, most of the things we say, they are unnecessary. That it's very limited frame that we are talking, and we are still talking, and also not only talking, and we believe that my viewpoint is true and yours is wrong. So there we realize that if we can step back from this me oriented thought, it act and bring Mother in the picture, bring higher in the picture, then it can open our minds and also, provide a more loving space for that exploration, whatever is happening. That you're not sticking tightly to any rigid opinions or ideas about anything. Yeah. So I would like to share my few experience and experiments with love and relationships also here, taking the opportunity. And I have felt that all the times in my life, wherever I have tried to stick to anything, a person, a situation, wanting, I can't tell how much misery it has brought me. How much misery. And why I can talk about it, because most of the times in my life I have been very self-absorbed. Like when I was little, I was just not much into really friends and relationships, but more into study oriented, so I was more into my own self, one can say, and not relationship or friend oriented, usually from the very childhood. So whenever, and it was not my nature to really stick on to anything for my own satisfaction or gratification. And there was a, like a background ease that I was living with most of the time in my life. And those times in my life where I have tried to shift my focus from some impersonal work like studying, texts, reflecting, to something like, I want this. This is what I would like. It has brought me so much of misery. Oh my God. And so much of unease. This excessive focus on our desires, demands, and sticking to one person. If some person came in your life and it maybe you were happy for some time. Now what the sticky mind does, it just wants to repeat the experience. So that person should stay with me, have the same experiences again and again. And that creates a lot of misery. And my understandings in love has been that it's my task to refine this aspect of stickiness. That see you today. Okay. Okay. And there are two possibilities I could see, that either I can stop loving, which I see that in many cases I'm choiceless, like it's not possible to stop loving. And the only possibility is to stop the stickiness in love. That wherever I am sticking, wherever I see that little me arising and wanting, I put its head down and bring mother in the picture, and again retreat back in myself. So I think my learning has been that this way of human love, how it can be used to have a refined form of love, that we are not stopping up, giving a pause to our heart that okay, now I am not going to love since I have so many bad experiences in love, but I am using this opportunity to refine my love. That can my love become sticky, sorry, non-sticky, that's, I see that stickiness causes so much of issues and problems. So can there just be love and no demands, no expectations, no wanting to get something in return, and yet just loving presence, what Nandini was sharing, and what a few of you were sharing. So I think that is a beautiful opportunity for all of us to take this as a ladder of refinement and move towards uh, unconditional love, from a condition based love to a kind of unconditioned love, because I feel that it has also opened my heart a lot. Having love in my heart, although it has brought so much of pain as well, since demands and expectations bring a lot of pain, but I have also been able to see the root of misery, that whenever I am demanding, the pain is there, but when I am not demanding, there is no point of pain. There is no point of pain. And it is my task in this life to keep loving and yet keep myself non-sticky, not demand anything from the outer situations. At times I find it very challenging, but I gladly take up the challenge, because I see that I see that it opens my heart, and I would not live any other life than this, where my heart breaks open at every new challenge.
um, I just wanted to, it is challenging in the sense that when you start doing this, sometimes, somewhere it happens that it's okay that without any expectation we love other persons, but there is a need for love also there, that I want to be loved. This is also expectation, because love is the energy. I believe that love is the only thing which is very, very important in the whole world, and knowledge and all these things, but I prefer love. So, what to do about this? Because after some time, it happens that you start going into the same groups, or like what you were labeling as stickiness, possessiveness. So, I don't possess, I don't become possessive, I don't expect, I give love, but that need to be happy, to be satisfied inside.
So I think when I connect with my own begging nature, that just as I am wanting from others,
Mm.
even if it's a drop that I am wanting,
Mm.
I'm still wanting,
I'm wanting.
right? And I think when I become conscious of this begging in me, that connects me with the begging of all the people. Like, just like how I am begging, all of me, the people around me,
They are also begging.
they are also begging. So, how can a beggar ask another beggar for something? It's a very miserable situation if we look at that, because
Very miserable.
yeah, and that's why mother says that only support and the only love and true contentment that you can get is from the divine. And when
That's
mother,
true. The moment you get attracted towards that, then you are happy. But when the
yeah,
other persons are in scene,
yeah,
then automatically that expectation or things like that, they
yeah,
so secretly
yeah,
enter into your mind.
it enters, yes. So one has, just as mother says, one has just to be conscious of it entering.
Yes.
And the moment it will enter and show its face to us, we will actually enter some kind of pain or suffering, will, because whenever there is a demand, even a drop of begging is there,
Well, hmm.
we suffer in that begging.
This sentence is very helpful. There are other beggars also. How can a beggar help the other? So that makes sense.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and
Monica.
this has really helped, because whenever I have seen that, oh my God, I am begging again,
Hmm.
and I see the misery that begging gives me.
Hmm.
I can see others are also, in that misery, because they are also expecting. So can I become one drop of begging less?
Hmm.
So there may be my unfulfilled wants and desires and all the approvals that are waiting, but I just put them away and, put them in the corner. I say, no, I don't want to be a beggar more in this ocean of beggars.
Hmm.
Enough of this.
Right.
And that is why in mother's prayers and meditations, mother says, deliver me from my own self. So the mother says that I am my own obstacle. Rid me of myself. Because no matter even if a pinch of myself is there, this ego self, it will beg. And mother, that's why again and again we talk about of the divine here, because all our contentment, this lack, the void that we feel, it can only be fulfilled in the divine. For the people who don't believe in the divine, they can use the word that when I am my own bestest friend, when I am not leaving my side, knowing that no one else can fulfill me, the lack that I feel, no one else, because they are also lacking, no, what can they give me? So I decide, okay, no, nothing doing. I am going to be my closest, bestest companion. People may leave me, but I am not going to leave myself. And that means that we do not enter the forest of stories and thoughts, because then we leave ourselves. The moment we bring our mind to the present moment in the body with the breath, with mother's name, or however we center ourselves, I am with myself. So this is like a sankalp that I take again and again, that enough of misery. The moment a demand arises, I see so much of misery arising, and I really don't want to put this burden on anyone else out there that, see, fulfill my demand. Because that person also is suffering, no? He may not share, she may not share. But each one of us who is disconnected from their divine presence is suffering. And then this question that you were asking, that how to take care of this need for being loved, when we begin to know that we everyone is wanting, 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 you begin your own savior. No one else is going to save you. So that's why in Buddhism, the first practice that we start with in many many areas is loving kindness, or opening our hearts to my own self. If I want to open my heart to others around me, first I have to fulfill my own heart. There's no one else going to come fulfill my heart. So let me take care of myself, nurture, honor myself, take care of this instrument of the divine that is being granted to me. And then with that fulfilled and content heart, not wanting anything from the world, I can jump into the world and serve and offer my presence. So there is a question here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anjali. Yes. Sneh is asking, how does one practice more grace when we are in relationships, especially a romantic relationship where there are more expectations and one has to work hard to keep the relationship going? Yeah. Let me bring up something from the mother, would be nice here. Um, let's see. So, who would like to read this for us? This is the first bit.
I would read
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
what human beings call as love, but it is not love. There is only one love, the divine love, eternal, universal, equal for everyone and everything. It is man, the human being, who calls all kinds of feelings love, all the desires, attractions, vital exchanges, sexual relations, attachments, even friendships, and many other things besides. But all that is not even the shadow of love, nor even its deformation. These are all mental and vital, sentimental or sexual activities and nothing. The difference is that what men call love for another human being is not love at all, but a frightful mixture of sentimentality, weakness, ignorance, and sensuality. It is obvious that such a feeling cannot be directed towards the divine.
I think this really shifts our consciousness, because all that we see in Bollywood movies, Hollywood movies, on the TV, serials, Netflix, YouTube, it just goes against all of that. And we don't realize that all the conditioning that we get from the social media and the movies specifically, we don't even realize, even romantic novels, we don't even realize that we are having imprints that, oh, this is love. And in our real life also, if we can call it real, in our real life also, what we are looking, we are always comparing. There is a subconscious comparison going on. But this is not like what I saw in the movie. So we want to translate that movie in the practical life, and that's never going to happen in the name of love. So we don't even know, what is love. And mother, it's very, very clear. Whenever there is a want, especially in romantic relationship, there is a lot of lust and desire. And commonly speaking, we call that love. When I'm saying I love you, I'm actually wanting to say I want something from you. Very, very clear, especially in intimate relationship. And we call our wants name of love. And that's how we spoil love. And to that extent that Sri Aurobindo at other instances says that love is such that true love, pure love, you would not even recognize that that is love. It may appear to the sentimental mind very cold and dry, because there is nothing but a very deep feeling of goodwill and wish for the other person. That you always want the benefit of the other person. You don't want anything from that person, like no approval, no rejection. You are not waiting, no consumption. You don't want to consume the person. There is hardly any sentimentality there, but you have a fondness there, and you want the best for the person. And Sri Aurobindo says that it may actually, to the normal human condition, it may appear not as love, pure kind of love. Why? Because our mind is full of this definition, what we get from the movies. So, looking at this, knowing that we start from this baby step, this is the lowest rung from where we start, that my love is mixed with all desires, attachments, sentimentality, weaknesses. I want something from you. You don't mingle with all the others because I become insecure, all kinds of these things. So, knowing that this is not love, and also knowing that, okay, I am starting from here, but I don't have to get stuck here. Let me refine my love, because if even if there is a pure drop of one drop of love there in romantic relationship, then you will take this opportunity as a moment of refining love, making it more non-sticky, wanting the best and the highest for the other person, and not wanting the person to be handicapped upon me, because that is not the best for that person. No, if I would love anyone, if a parent would love really a child, would the parent want always stay close with me, never go out and explore? No, the parent would want that the child gets the wings, and he's able to expand his full expression. He can have contentment and joy and progress in life, no matter whether he's physically near or far. But in romantic relationships, we see that this physically near, far means a lot. Why? Because we want. We want to consume each other. So this is where I think we can take romantic relationships as a step to purify our love. Two things can happen when I am purifying. The relationship may actually grow apart because maybe the other person is not very interested in purifying. So let the relationship go away. I mean, maybe not two persons on the same path. But for me, it can be a very purificatory experiences, that I don't want to stick to anyone in the name of love. Love is freedom, love is space, love is courage, love is expansion, love is not suffocation, love is not grabbing each other. Love is joy, love is, if you remember in the beginning, we had, Tignath Han had shared 4 elements of true love. Maitri, there is friendship in love. Karuna, there is compassion in love. You understand each other, there is a sensitivity to each other's issues. If there is other is suffering, you understand that suffering. It's not that you are cut away from that suffering. So mudita, karuna, maitri, karuna, upeksha. Now this element is very important. Upeksha is disinterestedness. Now when we see at you look at our normal romantic relationships, they are full of interest. What can you give me? What can I give you? So interest is there, consumption is there. So upeksha is disinterest. That love is there, but there is no want in that love. The vital hunger is not there. So that would be again third element, upeksha, and the fourth one was mudita, which is that if you love people around you or any one person, then won't you want that the person also remains joyful and we have joy in that relationship? Or would you want to make each other suffer? But in the name of romantic relationships, you would see how it happens. All the time we want to track where is the other person, with whom he's traveling, with whom he's spending his time, like a spy camera on him, like this. And the person doesn't feel very expanded in that state. No one would feel expanded. And there is no joy. There is always fighting with each other. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't I tell you? You should have told me. This happens, we do this in the name of all love, all in the name of love. That's why we spoil it. And to an extent that there comes a time that we feel so disappointed that we close our heart, we shell our heart, and then we say that don't talk to me of love, because I have suffered enough in love. Yes, absolutely. So I think this is very important observation. So Sneh is sharing that people get into a romantic relationship typically to fulfill their emotional and physical needs. So at least not to label it as love. है ना, love का नाम क्यों खराब करें? And because of this fear of dying alone and not having a partner to share life with. Yeah. And if we can become our own good partners, really best companions to ourselves, then there is no need to put this burden on someone else that you be my companion since I can't be alone. It's not a right place to start relationships. I mean, relationships are beautiful. I think there is no doubt about them. We learn, grow, evolve through relationships. But the thing is that when we use relationships as consumption, we put burden on someone else, then it becomes heavy. There is no matri there. There is no mudita there. There is no joy. So what's the fun? So asking myself, would I want this torture to inflict upon anyone? Would I do that? I won't do that. I've done that enough. So all the expectations that arise, ripples of expectation that keep arising, you bring them back into yourself. You don't want to torture anyone with your expectations. Then something pure can arise. So this is why human love is a very good beginning for divine love. Because divine love also has to be unconditional. Not that when mother will grant this, then I will love the mother more. Not like that. So human love, refinement in human love is a very good preparation, raw material. Although it's a painful process at times, but it's a very good preparation for extending our unconditional love towards the divine. Loving just for the sake of loving, not that what will I get out of love. Loving because loving makes you feel yourself. Here I am the easiest, most self when I'm in a loving presence.
I think one more thing which kind of came to my mind, that nobody is actually alone. We always feel that, and I think this journey, the aim is that only to understand that we are not alone. We are never alone actually. Whenever we get stuck in a situation, I think every one of us would have felt that when we actually need something, a solution to a problem or anything, it just pops up. It just comes at the right time. And this actually shows that you are never alone. So that fear is actually, of course, it's like any other thought which is in the mind. It's like a cloud, as you have already mentioned before. So this is very true that nobody is alone, and you are, as you said, that there is always a safety net, and you are being taken care of. Everyone is taken care of completely by divine.
Beautiful, yeah, thank you. I think why realizing our true nature is important on this path, and the importance of it, it's like, it's not that there are only a couple of beings who can maybe do the sadhana to realize who they truly are, but rest of us don't have to care about that. Rest of us can be ordinary. So I see that why there is the importance of this, that when we see the true nature of anything, like you were sharing thoughts, where are the thoughts arising from? They are arising from empty space, and they go back into the empty space, like fear. As you shared, that fear is, what is fear but a thought? We see that it arises like a cloud arises in the sky, and then slowly it kind of disappears again back into the sky. So when we see the true nature of these thoughts, feelings, wants, expectations, desires, ambitions, fear, all greed, lust, all that. When we see that, oh my God, they arise from nothing and they go back into nothing. So their true nature is empty. It's like empty bubble. You touch it and it's empty. It is nothing inside it. So then we realize that why am I grasping at it? Why am I making it so solid and real, as if the moment I grab it, I'm going to get something? So Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, she was sharing that this is our basic delusion, that we don't realize that things are not what they appear to be. People are not what they appear to be. And even science now is telling us that if this is phone, it appears to my senses, it appears like solid, hard. I can hit it and get hurt when I kind of knuckle at it. But the science is telling that it is only because of the limitation of my sense perceptions. Because when you go deeper into this and study the atomic structure, you see that there is no boundary here. This thing is not existing. So we can actually say that this is empty, this is nothing. But the problem is that relatively speaking, we can't say, because the moment somebody hits me on the head, it hurts. So relatively speaking, all these things have existence. This exists. Why? Because when it hits me, it hurts me. But in absolute terms, it actually is not there. So the enlightened beings, they realize the true nature of everything. And that is why they are not interested in the world as we are interested. What will I get from here? Because they know that there is nothing here. And that is why no matter how many phones I may get, I will never be contented, because there is nothing here. There's nothing solid here as it appears solid to my senses. Same for people. We were talking of romantic relationships. We think that if I grasp more at that person, my life will be fulfilled. Has it ever happened to any relationship that the more you grasp, your life is fulfilled? Never. No person can tell you that the more I grasped my beloved, the more I got contentment. Never ever. I think even if people would have to share some experience, they will share the more gently I held my relationships, the more contentment I had. When you are holding gently, then you are not wanting anything from the external. So I think this is my path. And every time I become too disturbed and overwhelmed by any want, desire, or anything in my life, just to remind me that this which appears so real in front of me is actually not real. The promise that it gives me, it's not a true promise. Then I can step back. And this is what Kabir says in one of the dohas. He says, Nij sukh atam ram hai, दूजा दुख अपार, मनसा वाचा कर्मना कबीर sumiran sar. So he says the contentment, the sukh that I find within myself, that's bliss. The moment my attention goes on to something else, duja, other, that brings me pain. In the beginning, it may bring pleasure, but that very soon turns to pain. Duja dukh apar, mansa vacha karmana. So in my mind, in my speech, and in my actions, all that I have to do is remind of my true nature, of my own self. Sumiran. So all of us have to begin to become our own fulfillment. Then we will be one drop of poison less. And same is the base for even romantic relationships. That if you really love a person, you would not want to put the burden of expectation on that person because you care for the person. Yeah. So we'll take up reflections. Anyone? Anything to add on or share? No, what we were sharing on the cloud-like nature of thoughts and feelings also. I think it's very, very important because if we remind ourselves of this cloud-like illusory nature of things, people, and even thoughts and feelings, then whenever they begin to trouble us, whenever they begin to overwhelm us, immediately if I can remind myself, oh, this is all a big illusion building in front of me, let it go and remember the divine name and bring the mind to the present moment. I think that's very, very helpful because all of us have attached spots, weaknesses. We have sticky storylines in the head that keep on repeating. So whenever next the storylines arise in the head, I can just look at it and I can say, empty space, nothing there, and not take it as real.
I think in relationships, there's one more point I wanted to share, which I took from you only. You only told me once, and which is very valid. That in a relationship, as you said, that uh, it's more opinionated, right? Because we hear and we see in movies, and then we want to apply, and then it comes to a point when we start suffering. Sometimes somebody we get hurt, and in relationships, and there is the point, I think, when we can just sit and see through it. Where is the suffering coming from? Because it is like a sadhana. There the sadhana begins when the suffering begins. So I think you told me once that it is important to also see in yourself that how do you know that you are right, whatever you are thinking. Because it's our perceptions, our opinions, and everything. When we don't question ourselves, that how do you know that this should happen this way and should not happen that way? So I think it's important to even, I think, more answers come when we actually question ourselves, and it becomes little better. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yes. Now I often find myself thanking, uh, especially those people in my life who I have loved also the most, but most pain has come also from those spaces. And why I have thanked and really felt so much grateful to those points in my life, because I think they are the ones which have opened me to love. And they are the points, as you were sharing, that wherever suffering is, that's the point where the sadhana can actually, take an exponential growth. Because wherever suffering is, I can definitely be sure that demands are there, expectations are there, and the focus on me is there. And there is the point where I can let it go and progress a bit further in my own heart. So I think really I have felt grateful, because if not for opening my heart to love, uh, I would not even see the possibility of refinement of love. I would not even see that, oh my God, what I call love is actually just a mixture of, as mother says, lots of weaknesses, uglinesses, and wants and demands and desires. And all this I have seen in me. And I've also seen that it is possible to refine this. And that brings really a lot of joy, that thank God for this pain, turmoil, and also love, because there we can sort this mixture out of all the impurities that are there, so that just love can remain, nothing else.
I also, while you were saying this, I could actually sense it in me also, that with the same mixture, we turn to divine. You know, we offer the same love to divine with that sort of mixture, and it's very hard to even, differentiate how would you. So that purity, that everything, that purification, we have to work on ourselves. It's so I think husband wife relationship, we might, feel okay, oh yeah, this is settled now, I am not wanting anything, but the same kind of, there might be a different kind of desire in some other relationship, brother sister, or maybe father mother, or anything. So we have to keep identifying and, those things, and it's a long journey. What can I say? Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I think what you said is very important, that with the same mixture, as we approach the human love, the same mixture we turn to the divine. And in the beginning, there is a lot of mixture there, even when we turn to the divine. And that's why we ask that, oh, I have been surrendering for so many years. What have I got? You know, because we approach the human love also with the same mixture, wanting. So that's why human love, if we refine it further, purify it and make it unconditional, it is a very beautiful, and Mother says it's a direct path to divine love. Psychic is seated in the center of heart, and front part of heart is this emotional mixture, the mixture of emotions, jealousy, want and all that. And at the back of the heart is the seat of the psychic, which is our soul consciousness. So Mother says that whenever we approach divine through bhakti, or through this, even if it's a mixed kind of love, and when we begin to purify, it's a direct path to our soul consciousness, to the divine. So yeah, it's beautiful to have touched it. Yes, but it of course entails a lot of pain as well, but good kind of pain. Yeah. Yeah, wonderful, beautiful. Yeah,
Can I share something?
of course. Yes, I mean, yes, please.
Yeah, sorry, I just heard you talking and I wasn't sure if you were talking to somebody or what was happening there. Just on that point with pain, I noticed that I am so pain orientated, so focused on pain, and that regardless of what ideals I try and have, that's my main motivating factor, is to avoid pain. So for me, that's it's very problematic when I find myself within a relationship, especially a very close or intimate relationship. And then it's problematic when I'm outside of a relationship, because the whole thing that I'm doing is just trying to run away all the time. So for me, it's because my kind of previous conditioning around relationships is quite dysfunctional, the way that I approach them. So I think it's kind of good from one perspective, because the way that I go about my life, and especially relationships, is problematic. So it's good that there's pain, and it's good that I step back. But it's kind of, I've taken it too far, as though the pain is the problem, and the thing that needs to be avoided, instead of, okay, there's pain and it's telling me that something needs to change inside of me, especially. So I'm getting to understand this a little bit more now, but I still do the same thing. Like when there's pain, I run. So I think, as you're talking about pain, just for me, it's about changing that habit and the condition of um, um, being willing to open to pain and work with pain, and also choosing the pain of discomfort that leads towards healing, and choosing to listen to pain, because pain actually has a really important message to tell me. So that's yeah, I think that's something that I'm trying to work with more in my life in general, and I'm hoping it will transfer into relationships at some point too. So yeah, thanks. That's what I want to share.
Thank you. Yes. Mother shares that one must not invite pain and suffering in life, but when it is there, like you were sharing, that when it is there, then how beautiful it can be to take us to the root of it and to find a deeper light, greater light, which lies at the root of that pain. So yeah, it can be a very, very powerful tool. I have personally, I feel very connected to the power of pain and suffering and how we can utilize it on the path. So totally relate with what you were sharing. And also the difference between the discomfort or pain of when we are stepping back from our ego patterns and the pain that comes when we follow a ego pattern. So I think there is a little difference, that when we begin to be conscious, more and more conscious of our little me, the ego self, and whenever that is in operation, we create something or the other which leads to more and more suffering, more pain. While there is also another kind of pain, that when I want to make an action or speech or something, some demand or desire I want to follow the dictate of, and yet knowing that it's not my true self, it's again a pattern that is repeating, I step back from that, and that also many a times causes discomfort, but it is a very good kind of discomfort, because you are stopping yourself to follow the older pattern and creating something new. Yeah. All right, so seems like we are all done with love. I think a long, long way to go for all of us, as all of you were sharing. But yet, I think so. There is no end to, of course, reflecting upon love. But I think maybe from the next time we all have this document. I think I shared with all of you, preparing for yoga through human love, and what is love not, and what love is, and how to make it more and more purified. So I think maybe we can give a pause to these, the theme here that we have been exploring, or maybe it would be nice to take up something else if people are ready for it, or I don't mind, I can continue this for a whole lifetime. I have no problems, but it would be nice to hear all of you, what do we want to do. Yeah, because I think the basic understanding is there, and now we have to just work upon it in order to make ourselves less and less sticky and more with rid of desires and demands, because we know that it causes pain and that's not love. So are there any suggestions on, we can also pause the Saturday sessions for some time, or we can take a new theme also to explore, if anything is there that you want to explore. So any suggestions?
Monica, suggestion, please. I think this is from Mother's line only, like you mentioned it today. Help me get rid of myself. Kar de mujhko mujhi se reha. I think this would be a beautiful topic if you could help us with.
Yeah, I think that's the crux of the matter. Yes.
Yeah, it
Very
is. You're
wide
right.
topic. Yeah, very wide topic. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I think for that, it would be actually very nice to, maybe we could take many bits from Mother's prayers and meditations, because there it's, that's what she's doing. She's like, at many, in many prayers, mother is talking of, just rid me of myself, just deliver me from myself, because we see that how much misery it causes when the focus is me. So yes, we will take up maybe Jatsunma Tenzing Palmo's excerpts and talks and maybe videos in between. she also shares a bit on this. And along with the support of mother's prayers, we can take this up. Yeah. Thank
That
you for
would be
sharing.
very nice,
Yeah.
because I do realize that this I is the obstacle to everything.
Thank you. Any more suggestions, anyone? Along with what Sulakshana ji has shared?
Yeah, I do have one suggestion. There's this amazing book that I read a couple of years ago now, but it's quite short, but very, very chunky. Like a lot of it was kind of, I don't know, maybe I think just difficult for me, and I think it could go well in a study, especially if you go, like line by line or paragraph by paragraph. So it's called The Logic of Faith, and it's about as you were sharing with the example of the phone, it's about interdependent origination. It was beautiful, really beautiful what I was able to understand of it. So yeah, I just thought that might be a nice kind of study thing. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have a look. Yeah, thank you. The Logical Faith. Who is the author?
Elizabeth Mattis Namgyal.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have a look. Any other suggestions? I'm just compiling up suggestions at this moment, not sure. I think we'll probably go with what Sulakshana ji had shared in the beginning and then take up other suggestions also. But if there is anything which is resonating in your head and you want to maybe bring it out for a collective reflection and maybe learning from mothers and Sri Aurobindo's teaching, so feel free to share at any point of time if there is any topic that we can take. Okay. So thank you everyone and happy practice and more dissolving of ourself. Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Monica.
much.
Thanks,
Thank,
Thank
Monica.
you.
Take
thank
care.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you.